Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk. I'm Dustin, this is Brent. Before we get into this episode, we wanted to go over real quick what our schedule is going to be once the season starts. We're going to have a weekly recap show that's going to come out on Wednesdays. Then we're going to have a Sunday morning show, which should be up about 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We're crazy excited about the season starting, so check out those videos once that comes around. As far as this video, we're going to give you 5 teams that have the easiest playoff schedule and 5 teams that have the hardest playoff schedule. When I say playoff schedule, I'm talking fantasy playoffs week 14 through 16. We don't include week 17, and if you're a commissioner and you did include week 17, you better change it now or you won't be the commissioner next year.
Right, and then you're going to ask us, how did we come up with these different point values for the teams? Well, basically what we did is we took the total yards given up by a defense, assigned a point value, and then you want to look for your team to have a high aggregate total. Basically meaning the Lions were high with 32 because they had a terrible defense. The Steelers were number 1. So as you look at this graphic, there's 5 teams on the board. The Cardinals, Bills, Texans, Bucks, and Titans. Now out of these 5, I really want to highlight the Cardinals and Texans. Of course, Andre Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald are going to get theirs against these weak secondaries, but guys like Bolden, Owen Daniels, Kevin Walters might actually have a little bit of a bump because they're going to be going against these soft secondaries.
Now we're going to go into the 5 teams that have a hard playoff schedule. On this list, we got the Panthers, Bears, Lions, Giants, and Chargers. Now obviously there's going to be a lot of good defenses on this list that these 5 teams are playing, but you will notice the 49ers and the Bengals are on this list, but they weren't that bad defensively last year. They're just kind of on bad teams overall. Now, as far as these 5 teams, there are going to be a lot of fantasy relevant players that fall in this list. But you have to be careful how much value you give this information. It is valuable information to have on draft day, but you shouldn't be bumping a guy up a full round or down a full round just because he's on the easy or hard schedule. You should really only be using this information to decide the coin flips that you have on draft day.
Yeah, and you don't have to just use it on draft day. Going forward, when looking at trades, this is a good thing to look at, especially as you get close to the trade deadline. Somebody might be trying to deal a player just because they have tough fantasy playoff matchups, so make sure you're not on the wrong end of those trades.
Yeah, it's never too early to look at those matchups week 14 through 16, and it always does play a big factor going down the stretch. All this information is going to be available on FantasySmackTalk.com, and as always, feel free to join our forum discussions. I'm Dustin, this is Brent, we'll see you next time.